Hello everybody, my name is Michael and this is Let's Learn Piano Together's Introduction to Reading Music video as well as how to read the treble clef. The treble clef is usually the area that beginner books start out in, so it's important that you guys know how to read those first. Now, I just want to clear something up. A lot of people think that reading music is difficult, and in some ways it is. It's like its own different language. But at its core, music notated is simply a series of lines and spaces. Now, obviously, you can't just make up what notes go on which line. That has been set out for you. But that's where just dividing it up into simple steps like what we're going to do in this video will help us out. So let's get started with the treble clef. I'm going to show you our first note, which is middle C. And as you might have guessed, it's called middle C because it happens right in between the bass clef and the treble clef. And I'm just going to draw the first 5 notes so that you guys can kind of get an idea of what we're working with here. So here's our first 5 notes. We have C, D, E, F, and G. And just like I said, it's a series of lines and spaces. You can see right here, line, space, line, space, line. And so if we continue, what's it going to be next? I'm kind of curious. I think it's going to be a space note. Oh, I was right. It's a space note. So we're going to keep on going with this guy. I'm going to draw the next 2, which are A and B. Now you might wonder, why don't we start on A? Wouldn't that just be so much easier, just the 7 first letters of the alphabet? Well, we can't unfortunately due to something called keyboard geography. So if I put my camera over the keyboard, you can see that there's a set of 2 black notes and then 3 black notes. And that's how it works all the way up and down the piano. And at the beginning of those 2 black notes, if we go one step down, there is where we find C, and this is where middle C is at. And if we go up, here's another C, or if we go down, here's another C right here. And so that's why we can't just start with A like we want to. I'm going to give us the next couple of notes that finish off the staff. This is what we consider the high C area for right now in the treble clef. And I'm going to show you them here in a minute. And here they are. I drew a line to show, hey, this is a new area. And you might notice right off the bat, hey, that C isn't on a line. It's on a space. And that's just because, like I said, it's a continuous cycle. And so if you're not playing a line note, you're playing a space note. And so if we were to go down further, the bass C would actually be on a space as well. But if we went higher and we just kept going higher and higher, we would actually reach the next C, which is on a line. And it's just too high to speak right now. If you look right here, this is all the notes for the treble clef. But you may notice I still have like 2 octaves of the piano. And so it's like, what happens to those notes? Those guys appear on something called ledger lines, which we'll talk about in another video. But for right now, these are all the notes that you need to know for the treble clef. And you may wonder, how am I supposed to remember all these notes? At the beginning, you're not, and they're not going to show you all the notes at the beginning of a lesson book. They're probably just going to give you the bass C through G that I showed you at the beginning. But I'm going to erase my board and show you some tips to maybe, if you're a little bit brighter or eager to get started on it, you can figure out how these things work. So I'm going to show you all the line notes of the treble clef first. And so if we look right here, C should technically go below here, but it's not technically on the treble clef, so I start with E. And if you notice, these are all of the space or line notes right here. You have E, G, B, D, and F. And I like to create acronyms for them. The typical two is every good boy does fine, but I like to use every good brownie deserves fudge, which is nice. You should try creating your own acronym though if those two don't work for you. And then I'm going to show you the space notes, and this one is a lot easier to remember because there's only 4 of them, but it also spells a word. It spells face, which is just fun. I like it. And so these are what the line notes and the space notes look like throughout the treble staff. And in between those guys, if we fill in the gaps, we have, you know, E connects to F over here, then we have G to A, and then B to C, and then D to E, and then F. We could draw a high G up here. It's, you're just filling in the spaces. So if you're not playing a line note, you're playing a space note. If you want, I will upload this picture to the community page, but you can also kind of just look up treble clef notated on Google, and you'll more than likely find a more fine looking picture of what it looks like compared to my handwriting. But that is it for the treble clef video. I hope you join us for the bass clef video. Bye.